Coming up, controversy on campus. A student organization hosts an outspoken guest. And Winner Winner Chicken Dinner, an annual competition, showcases local restaurants.
New home, former Hawks succeed after their sport was stripped here at Iowa.
It's still winter. Iowa City gets reminded of a harsh reality.
All that and more
Coming up right now on DITV.
Good morning from Iowa City. It is Wednesday, February 28th, and I'm Grace Lathrop.
And I'm Max Von Grease.
And the third member of our team, Johnny Valtman, is live now to tell us today's weather story.
I see you're inside today, Johnny, but how's the weather outside?
Yes, Max, I'd love to be outside in the sunshine, but it is currently freezing. The temperature right now is 10 degrees, but the wind chill is -10, and wind chill, that's going to be the story of the day. Today's high, we will see a high of 34 and a low of 19, but as I talked about, the wind gusts are going to be high. We will be seeing winds between 20 and 30 miles per hour, and even sometimes up to 40. So I'd make sure to hold on to your hats and throw on a coat, and I'll let you know later if the rest of the week's going to look promising. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Johnny. And the Hawkeye History Corps held an event last night celebrating the life of the recent namesake of Johnson County. In 1941, Lulu Merle Johnson was the first African-American woman to earn a PhD at the University of Iowa, where she studied history. In 2020, she was made the namesake of Johnson County, replacing Richard Mentor Johnson.
And these were a generation of women who you often cannot put your finger on exactly how, but they're the generation that nurtured the generation in the 1950s and 1960s who took civil rights to a new level of activism.
In 2025, a sculpture of Dr. Johnson will be unveiled in front of the Johnson County Administration Building, and an exhibit will include more information on the life of Dr. Johnson. The Young Americans for Freedom chapter at Iowa hosted commentator Vince Everett Ellison to campus to discuss his views on DEI and abortion. DITV News Director Ashley Wheel has more on how the Iowa City community reacted to the lecture.
While many previous YF events like this had protesters with loud chants and signs, protesters took a different approach for this event.
I'm so happy for all the people who came and protested on the sidewalk, who came into the event and played bingo to raise money for reproductive freedom, and the people in the community who generously contributed money to the cause.
Michael Roberts raised $770 Monday night. All the money is going to a local women's health clinic.
Yeah, I'm happy with any money being donated to support reproductive freedom.
Rather than protesting outside at the event, Roberts attended, asked questions, and engaged with Ellison.
I did. I had a thank you card. I wrote the amount of preliminary total of the money we raised and was able to pass that up to him.
Inside, Ellison talked about a variety of topics, including his takes on politics, race, and religion.
I said the left has a God complex. Black people think that they're inferior, and white liberals think that they're God.
Felt like Mr. Ellison had very contradictory views.
As the room opened up for Q&A, both those agreeing and disagreeing with Ellison's comments got to share their perspectives.
I'm thankful that they let me attend and speak my mind.
We were denied interviews with any YAF members after the event to get their perspective on the speaker, but they do have another event planned next month. From the IMU, Ashley Wheel, DITV.
And education has been a big topic in Iowa legislature this session. We have DITV's Jordan Tovar live in the newsroom now with more on what the current state of these bills are in.
Thanks, Grace. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds proposed a controversial bill this session that would make changes to the state's area education agencies. Now, along with this came a proposed raise in educator starting pay to $50,000. Now, while this bill was ultimately voted down, recent legislation in the House and Senate is still looking to raise teachers' starting salaries. Both sides disagree, however, on what the starting number should be, and the House bill raises it from the old salary of $33,500 to $47,500. The Senate still wants to raise it, but over $8,000 less than the House version. Some state politicians, like State Representative for District 59 Sharon Steckman, see it as a way to solve the teacher shortage around the state.
$35,000 was really not a very good beginning salary for a new teacher. A lot of districts are way over that now. So for some districts, this won't mean a huge bump, but for other districts, it'll be a great incentive to pull in teachers.
Both the House and Senate bill are still in progress, with floor debate to come. So for now, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Jordan. And Army ROTC cadets have the chance to learn about their fitness. DITV's Jace Bertrand has more on the new project.
From judo to cardio, Army ROTC cadets have a wide variety of practices that'll help them improve their physical health. And now, thanks to the Health and Human Physiology Department, they have a chance to understand the science behind their bodies. The Army ROTC is partnering with Human Health and Physiology in order to test their body composition with modern scientific methods.
The motivation is to be able to teach our ROTC cadets ways to optimize themselves, both in their physical performance and their nutrition.
Really what we offer is a measure that does a pretty good job of measuring how much of your body is made up of fat versus the rest of it.
Using the bod pod, research students have been able to measure a cadet's weight and mass to get an accurate look at their overall physique.
They talked me through what all my measurements meant, how we're doing it. They made me feel real comfortable about everything.
This practice is not currently standard in the military.
Because it's simply, you're this tall, you should weigh this much, and you should be in a certain range, and I found that a lot of females are kind of failing that.
With these new practices, students and cadets alike have been able to understand the way their body holds weight in a better way.
So we want to make sure that they know if the workouts are being productive.
I could narrow it down to what I need to get rid of, or I could also narrow it down to how I want to better improve my health.
And it kind of was just like the most validating thing to kind of see like, oh, I am working out enough and I am doing what I need to be doing and I am eating right. So it was just really nice to have that validation.
HHP offers tests for body composition, resting metabolic rates, and aerobic fitness to any member of the community interested in participating. From the Iowa Bioscience Innovation Facility, Jace Bertrand, DITV.
Thanks, Jace. And a new twist on your typical reality dating show came to Iowa City. The LGBTQ+ Iowa Archives and Library hosted a real-life dating show featuring a LGBTQ+ cast. The Bachelor and their contestants were asked silly questions to get to know each other in front of a live audience. But it is also a place for everyone there to have a safe space and to be themselves.
It's so important to bring together people of diverse gender and sexuality to have a safe space and a commemorative space.
Organizers were shocked by a bigger turnout to the event than they expected, and they hope to host the event again next year to continue to foster safe and exciting spaces for the LGBTQ+ community in Iowa City. Iowa City's most popular and beloved annual culinary event took place this past Monday. DITV's David Consuelos has more on what was cooking at the Graduate Hotel.
As local restaurants prepare their signature dishes and mixologists craft their exquisite cocktails, this year was the first year of Top Chef that had a barista category.
I think that it's important to highlight a larger array of businesses in town, but also just showcase how diverse the coffee world is, equally as diverse as the mixology world, and let us really highlight all the different flavor notes that are contained in coffee.
As you can see around me, hundreds of people from the community showed out to see what the bars, restaurants, and coffee shops from Iowa City had to offer.
Hamburgin's been around for years and years, decades. And it's just, now that we have new ownership, gets our name kind of back out there, back out to the world, people to see us, try our new food.
The winners of the event were chosen by judges who would visit each vendor, as well as a People's Choice Award for each category where all attendees could vote on.
We're in Iowa City, it's not a big city, but you feel that kind of close-knit group of these restaurants, these people participating, and just the food's good, and you got a great variety, and just kind of the culture of Iowa City and what we bring to the scene, and it's fun to be able to experience that culinarily-wise.
Although there could only be one winner from each of the categories, all the vendors benefited from showcasing their skills in front of Iowa City.
From the Graduate Hotel, David Consuelos, DITV.
Author John Green will head to the UI this spring, where the university will grant him the Distinguished Lecturer Award for his accomplishments in literature. Green is best known for his young adult novels, including The Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, and Looking for Alaska. He'll be at the IMU on April 18th. Several events celebrating and cultivating the culture of children's literature in Iowa City took place this week. DITV's Julia Rhodes has more on how this event helped remind the community of the importance of children's literature.
I'm here at the One Book, Two Book Festival, where children from all over have come to celebrate children's literature in the city of literature.
I think it is so important to show kids that, you know what we're going to do today? We're going to go out and explore some things about books.
The One Book, Two Book Festival celebrated childhood reading and writing with activities like author readings, writing workshops, film screenings, and more.
And the Iowa City community is fabulous. It's a wonderful way that books aren't just what you do at school during the day, that you get to come and incorporate them in your weekend too.
The goal of this event was to spark kids' interest in reading and writing. The colorful displays, friendly mascots, toys, and more did just that.
I don't know that I've been in very many spaces where people don't love books here, and not all those spaces are places where you want to bring your kids, and so we that love books want our kids to love books too. And how do we get them to do that? By being around books.
Not only does this event encourage and promote children's books, but it brings the community together and unites people with the love of literature.
All the play that's happening, all of the books here, it's just a great way to thank you. It's just a great way to bring joy.
While the activities of the day may be wrapping up, the effects of an event like this in Iowa City are long-lasting. From the One Book, Two Book Festival, this is Julia Rhodes, DITV.
Thanks, Julia. And coming up later, spring recruitment for numbers for Greek life are showing some changes. But first, let's send it back to Johnny for the forecast for the week ahead.
Will the rest of this week continue to be this cold, Johnny?
Well, Max, it won't be this cold, but we'll have to see. So going into Thursday, we will be seeing highs returning to the 50s. Same goes for Friday, and we will see some sunshine throughout those 2 days. And then the weekend, a lot of people are going to love the weekend, as it will be 70s, highs in the 70s, both Saturday and Sunday. However, the gusty winds will be returning Sunday, so it may be warm out, but there will still be a lot of wind speeds. We'll get a cool down on Monday with some rain and see a high only up in the 60s. So the rest of the week is looking to be good. So if you want to take the day and plan out the rest of your week, the weather's going to be better later on. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Johnny. Now, Max, I heard it was a big loss for Iowa athletics when they cut their men's gymnastics team.
Well, Grace, it was certainly a big loss for fans of the Iowa men's gymnastics team, but an even bigger loss for those athletes who were actually on the team at the time. 4 years ago, men's gymnastics was one of 3 sports cut at the University of Iowa, and DITV's Brady Barron has more on what those 2 athletes are now doing.
When Iowa cut men's tennis, men's gymnastics, and men's swimming and diving, dozens of athletes were left without homes. A couple of those athletes found a home right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. The news shocked then freshmen Zach Tieterman and James Friedman, who committed to Iowa for men's gymnastics.
I mean, it was our first month there in a new place, far from home, and your hopes and dreams were crushed in a matter of minutes, and you kind of just were left to deal with it.
The athletes fought back against then athletic director Gary Barta's decision initially, but quickly realized that would be a pointless effort.
We had those conversations with him and they were all shut down immediately. So he made it very clear that there was nothing we could do under any circumstances to bring these teams back.
I mean, I could speak candidly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that athletic director sucks.
In the end, the decision was made to push forward and make the most out of Iowa's last season as a program.
I give a lot of credit to my student athletes at the time who really, it was hard. It was hard to go into the gym every day and do what we needed to do. They made a commitment to doing it.
At the end of that season, Iowa defeated Zach and James's future home, Nebraska, who would go on to finish toward the top at nationals.
They beat us. We went up there, their last home meet, and they were on fire. We didn't do bad. They were great.
When it came time to find a new home, both Zach and James knew they wanted to compete at the NCAA level once again.
Because I tore my knee freshman year, I never really got to compete in the NCAA. And so it was really important to me to try to get back to that point.
At Nebraska, Zach and James have found success contributing to national contenders and breaking school records. Despite the rocky path Iowa put them on, neither Zach nor James hold a grudge against the University of Iowa.
I met a lot of great people there that I'm still good friends with. I had a lot of great times. I really like the city. Iowa City, I think, is an amazing college town.
However, both athletes love where they ended up.
I love being a Cornhusker. I think they really care for us here. They do so much for us. It's fun to say, "Go Big Red." I love it.
Zach and James hope to finish their final season strong just 4 years after their future is put in jeopardy. From the Devaney Center in Lincoln, Nebraska, Brady Barrand, DITV Sports.
Thanks, Brady. And another Iowa basketball player makes history last night, but this time it's not Caitlin Clark. DITV's Tara Gillespie has more on the new record set in Iowa City.
Coming off a loss on Saturday against Illinois, the Iowa Hawkeyes showed more urgency tonight against Penn State. And junior Peyton Sanford scored the first triple-double in Iowa program history.
I didn't really know it until I thought I was close to a double-double because I told one of our coaches I was going to get 10 rebounds before the game. And then he's like, "Hey, one more rebound." And I'm like, all right, I got you. He's like, "No, get one more rebound." I'm like, all right.
Peyton Sanford hit the first triple-double in Iowa men's basketball history, with a total of 26 points, 18 of which were at the free throw line. This was followed by 10 rebounds and 10 assists with the help of Josh Dix.
I mean, I see Caitlin do it every day, but it takes some of the legitimacy of it. But I mean, yeah, I'm pretty proud. You know, being from this state, it's a pretty special thing to be the first one.
The Hawkeyes attributed their win to having more urgency in this game and in their matchup against Penn State on February 8th. Senior Patrick McCaffrey also made program history by becoming the 53rd player to score 1,000 points.
A lot of people seem to care. My phone's blowing up. Yeah, you know, it shows I had a long, successful career. I've been a pretty good player on really good teams, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to play here, and I'm glad I was able to do something with it.
Looking ahead, Iowa is still on bubble watch for the NCAA tournament in March. Their next obstacle will be against Northwestern in Evanston on Saturday. From Carver Hawkeye Arena, Tara Gillespie, DITV Sports.
Thanks, Tara. And after a tough previous weekend, the Iowa baseball team reasserted their dominance as they took on the NIU Huskies at home. The Hawkeyes struck right off the bat with left fielder Sam Peterson hitting a blast to left center to give the Hawkeyes the early lead. Not long after, catcher Davis Kopp followed suit with another 2-run homer. Throughout the rest of the game, the offense stayed hot, collecting a total of 16 hits and 14 runs overall. On the defensive side, the Hawks went through 10 pitchers and acquired 13 strikeouts while pitching a shutout through the first 4 innings. The Hawkeyes look to continue their streak at Ole Miss this coming Friday. And Caitlin Clark and the rest of the Iowa women's basketball team is headed to the Twin Cities today as they travel to the Barn to take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Clark and the Hawks are coming off of a huge bounce-back win after defeating Illinois on Sunday, 101-85. After her 24-point performance on Sunday, Clark is now only 50 points away from matching Pistol Pete Marievich's all-time college basketball scoring record. If she wants to make history again, she'll have to break her career high of 49 points, which is certainly possible.
Well, Max, what records can't Caitlin Clark break?
I'm not sure, Grace. I'm not sure there's enough records left, but I will say that I think she might break a couple Hawkeyes' hearts at the end of this season if she declares for the WNBA draft.
And speaking of new records, Iowa Greek Life here on campus is hitting some new numbers of their own with their spring rush recruitment. And the number of students who rushed this spring jumped compared to previous years. This spring, 165 students participated in the recruitment process, which tops the numbers from the last 2 spring semesters. The Interfraternity Council here at Iowa say they've been working very hard to counter the previous year's lower numbers. Thank you so much for joining us online or listening on KRUI 89.7 FM.
We are here live from Iowa City every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. and online anytime at dailyiowan.com.
For Johnny Valtman, Max Von Grease, and I'm Grace Lathrop. See you again Friday morning right here on DITV.